Hi guys, Andrew here and welcome to episode 7 of the W2L Podcast, where I speak with those who are living their lives by their own accord and are loving it. In this episode I speak with Nick Peardon, the founder of Treeincarnation, a tree removal company that makes furniture from the trees they cut down. Nick began his journey working as an arborist, but when he felt like they were wasting some amazing timber, he decided he should turn it into various pieces of furniture and sell his customers' much loved trees back to them. Nick is a true entrepreneur at heart and places emphasis on not just reading and learning about it, but doing it and applying it in his day-to-day. He works closely with all of his customers and employees and understands the value in building and maintaining strong relationships and not losing focus of his overall goals. Throughout this episode, Nick drops plenty of really insightful tips and advice on not just business but on life in general, which I think can help everyone. You can find Nick at treeincarnation.com.au and also on Facebook and Instagram. Here it is. So Nick, can you tell me a bit about your personal background and what led you to starting your business, Treeincarnation?
Yeah, sure. Look, I suppose, I take it my answer will be a little bit different to what I suppose a lot of people will be expecting. I mean, I didn't start out with an idea for social change. Yeah, I more than anything, I suppose, when I finished school, I completely flunked. I got the worst end of school, and all I really wanted to do was just to be independent and start my own business. Yeah, so I basically finished school, just wanted to be independent, wanted to do my own thing and sort of live a little bit of a life on my terms, and just did some garden maintenance and things like that. And then I suppose over the years that manifested into being a tree removal company. And then after a bit of a dissatisfaction with the way things have always been done, then that manifested into being Treeincarnation. So now we make furniture out of the trees that we cut down.
Yeah, okay. So you were an arborist before Treeincarnation? Yeah,
that's right.
How did you end up in that role?
Good question. I mean, I landed a job in the industry completely by accident. I was sort of doing a bit of garden maintenance here and there, and I think my sister kind of knew that recently I kind of wanted to get into that space, and she had a friend who actually quit a job in the industry. He had to pursue his university degree, and she thought it'd be a good idea for me to call up that company where he was working and potentially ask if they had a position going. Fortunately enough, they did, and literally within a week, I just fell in love with the industry and the business and all that side of it. And literally within a week, I started sort of doing cashies and on that side of things. And stopped doing what I was doing before, yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's a pretty laborious kind of job, isn't it? Like pretty full on.
It is, yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty full on.
Does that, do you stay pretty motivated? You happy doing that?
Doing the laborious side of things?
Yeah. Does it drain you?
Yeah. Oh, look, I mean, you wouldn't want to be doing it 7 days, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very much an advocate for having a really on-point culture within my organization. So it's one of those industries that's, unfortunately, it's the third most dangerous job in the country. So I do believe that there's a strong parallel between workplace sort of OH&S and culture, because a lot of the times your life is in somebody else's hands. It might be in a colleague's hands or somebody else's, just due to the nature of the work. So I've always been a big advocate for, having a really good culture and that sort of stuff with work. So, that's definitely put us in good stead. And I suppose it's definitely made it worthwhile, being a very laborious job, just to have, or to be able to work with guys who you really get along with.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Like when you're doing physical roles, if you've got a good crew, it makes it 10 times easier.
Totally. Yeah, I don't see the point otherwise, yeah.
No, I just thought I'd ask because like most of the other guys that have been on this show, they're like more not hands-on. They're like more like desk jockey style. Like they're into e-commerce and marketing and stuff like that. Totally different.
Yeah, they're missing out anyway.
Yeah. I guess you get to see some awesome views in Melbourne.
That's right. Yeah. We've definitely worked in some massive trees. We've done a few 45, 50-meter trees some days. And sometimes you really got to pinch yourself. You're just like, geez, those corporate people working in those offices in the city, they really don't know what they're missing out on.
No. That's cool, man. So you're working as an arborist, and then what was next? How did you get into Treeincarnation?
Good question. Well, in a sense, it really all started with the dissatisfaction with the way things have always been done. I mean, I suppose the early stages of me starting up this tree removal company, I do have fond memories of the early days. They were really, really fun, but I suppose in a personal sense, it really wasn't enough for me just to be employing a few people and sort of rendering useful service to society as a way of giving back. So after a couple of years of just being a tree removal company, I really just sort of started to question, the sustainability and the resourcefulness of what it is that I was doing, or what it is that I was doing. So I decided, I was in very serious contemplation of just quitting my job or selling my business, or just diluting my involvement completely and just going overseas. Mm-hmm. So I more than anything, I was really fantasizing about just going overseas and volunteering and just being a bit of a bum over there and just giving back in that sense. And in hindsight, I'm really glad I shared these plans with a mentor of mine who is a bit of a high-profile entrepreneur, and he's he does have a lot of nuggets of gold to share. And I'm really glad I told him, because he said to me, he's like, mate, what are you doing? I mean, the biggest catalyst to change that you have at your current disposal is your business. So, I mean, it's all very well and good going overseas and being a one-man band and volunteering, but you'd be much smarter, and you'd be making much more of a difference in the world if you convert your business into being the change that you'd like to see within the world. So after that, I went away. It wasn't exactly a 5-minute exercise. It wasn't exactly a 15-minute exercise. It was sort of like a go away for a weekend, or nearly even a holiday overseas sort of an exercise. And had a bit of a think about what it is that I could convert my business into being, so that it's more contribution focused and making a difference.
Yeah, okay. That's cool, man. It's cool how you can have an idea for something, and it's just like a little bit of a spark, and then you tell someone, and then all of a sudden it's like a flame. Like they just get you down to that next level.
It changes everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So what then? Did you have to take out a loan to get this all going, or was that initially before this?
Initially, I did. Yeah. I mean, luckily, I did have a profitable business when I decided to make the transition into being a business for change and being a social business. Mm-hmm. But yeah, initially, I think I was like 19, 20 years old or something when I really needed to borrow some money to start up my business. So I called up a very reluctant investor, which happened to be my old man. And I asked my dad for some money, and he sort of hesitated a bit, but he did see the value in it because I had put some runs on the board by then. Yeah. And luckily enough, he lent me the money, and I've paid him back since. That's
good. It seems like you followed like a less risky route in that you've gotten like a trade and some skills, and then you've just built up from that. That seems like a good way to go about it.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, it wasn't exactly planned, but in hindsight, looking back on it, it was very much a congruent path to take, and a very, I suppose it was a path that was right for me. I mean, I think anyone living a life on purpose, or anyone sort of looking to achieve greatness, does not get there without having self-awareness and without knowing what it is that they're meant to be doing, in a sense.
Yeah. Once you find that purpose, that helps everything a whole lot.
Yeah,
not just
100%.
a hobby. You get a bit of a purpose about it. That's good.
Totally.
How is the tree lopping or tree arborist industry as a whole at the moment? Is it good?
Well, I suppose overall, there are more arborists in Melbourne than any other city in the world. Oh, wow. So, yeah, in hindsight, I mean, it does bring a lot of competition, but at the same time, I mean, there are a lot of old boys in the industry, so it's very stagnant. It's very ripe for disruption, and I suppose a young guy like me, with I suppose new crazy ideas and with the intention to change the world and serve society and things like that. It is very ripe for disruption. So there's a lot of things that we are doing that is sort of prodding the industry and I guess provoking them to change and sort of minimize waste in their own worlds. So I guess on that front, if you're innovative, if you really understand your target market well, and if you're rendering useful service to society, well, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't flourish. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like the way I see it from the outside is there's like got this whole property boom, especially in Sydney and Melbourne. And you got these people that want trees removed for their property, and they're making a lot of money. They got a good amount of cash going on. It seems like you should definitely resell them their furniture because they want that tree. Like I think I read on your blog, like people get attached to their tree and they don't just want to chop it down and let it be done. They miss that tree. They had memories there. Is that a big part of it?
Definitely. I mean, one of the, I suppose, how this idea came about of making furniture out of the trees that we cut down was also partly in dissatisfaction with the way things have always been done, and also in recognition that nobody else was really focusing on the client's needs. Yeah. I mean, if a mentor of mine said to me, if you can solve your client's problems, on an emotional level, and not only that, but also on a level that, in a practical sense as well, there's no reason why they're absolutely going to love you and you will succeed in business, more than likely. So, after sort of being told that, I recognized the fact that a lot of our clients had a really strong emotional attachment to their trees. And I thought, well, shit, it's not rocket science. If we can enable them to feel better about the process, well, a lot of the business is going to come to us.
Yeah, yeah. Who is your typical client? Do you have a typical client?
Yeah, our target market is definitely a homeowner between the ages of 35 and say 40.
Yeah.
Typically it is the wife with a couple of kids who is the one to pick up the phone and give us a call. But yeah, anyone with a property, anyone who does not want to see their trees go wasted is definitely someone that would be interested in talking to.
Yeah, that's cool. I was looking through like your reviews on Facebook and on your website. You seem to have a really awesome like connection, and all your customers give you really awesome feedback. Is that something you enjoy doing, like working so directly with your customer?
Yeah, without a doubt. Personally, early on in business, I became to recognize that if you don't enjoy serving your clients, and if you don't enjoy solving their problems, and like in not a literal sense, but if you don't fall in love with solving your clients' problems and falling in love with your clients, and if it's all about you, you're definitely not going to succeed. And if anything, you probably completely miss the point. A lot of people in business these days are in it for the wrong reasons. They're in it for themselves, unfortunately. Yeah. And they're not really coming from a place or coming from an intention of service. So, that's all it is. At a fundamental level, business is just an exchange in value. So if you can begin to, love solving your clients' problems, loving your clients, loving your suppliers, loving your employees, there's no reason why you won't succeed.
Yeah, I guess coming from like a social venture angle, you can't lose sight of like what you're trying to do. Like you're not in it to make money primarily, you're in it to change for the better part.
Yeah, that's right. And on the flip side, just because we are a business for change and we are a social business, that doesn't mean that, the phone's going to be ringing off the hook with leads. Would you drink thank you water if it tasted like shit? Who gives a crap toilet paper? Would you use it if it hurt your ass, for instance? You've still got to be rendering useful service to society. But the bonus that I suppose that we have over our competitors is that we are, in a sense, changing the world.
Definitely. That's cool. When you started this, was it risky? Did it feel like a big risk to you?
It started with the business or Treeincarnation?
Which one did you take out a loan for?
It was the business initially.
The business, yeah. Was that risky?
Look, the way I did it, it wasn't. I was very fortunate at the time. Well, not only that, but the business that I was going into allowed me to sort of at least dip my toes in the water before I jumped in the pool, in a sense. So I did have a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So, I ran my business after work. Well, I ran my business after the 9 to 5. I ran my business on the weekends and things like that. So, worst case scenario, if the business went under, I still had a bit of a safety net there to catch me. So, in a sense, if there's anyone listening who is looking to start their own business, if you do have this opportunity, do a half step, but if not, gather all the evidence that you need to succeed, and then jump in the pool.
It definitely feels like a half step, like you had your established work there, and then it was kind of like an attachment to that.
In a sense, yeah. And then I sort of began to question it. I was like, man, why am I, working for $20 an hour or whatever when I can be enjoying myself? I could work 1 day a week and get paid more than, what I am doing 5 days a week in this crappy little job where I'm undervalued and, nobody recognizes my contributions. It was just a no-brainer.
It's so hard. Once you step away from that hourly rate and you start to really value your time, you just can't. It's so hard to even imagine going back to doing work on an hourly rate for like 20 or something.
It'd be like stuffing a baby back in a worm, I reckon.
It is.
I'd still do it for the same money, but it was just, I don't know. It just worked for me. I love it and I love doing my own thing.
I was going to say toothpaste back in the tube, but I think I like yours better.
I like that.
That's a better one. So what is the mix of like your ratio of getting trees down to how much you actually turn into furniture?
Good question. I mean, we are not quite at capacity yet. I mean, when we are really quite busy, we do knock back a bit of work because, unfortunately, the industry does fluctuate quite a lot. I wouldn't be able to give you a figure, simply because I don't know it off the top of my head. But yeah, for instance, I mean, we still do pruning works. When we're really quiet, we might even do hedge trimming works and stuff like that. But I mean, the vision is definitely just to do tree removal works and the odd bit of pruning.
Yeah.
And then to be completely, 100% a vision-led business in upcycling trees. So, if in the near future, in the next couple of years, when we are at capacity and we're doing jobs where we can't upcycle timber, I mean, that's not in alignment with what we're trying to do. So, that's definitely where we're looking to go.
Yeah. And what's the process with getting furniture made? Do you have a guy or do you do it in-house?
Yeah, definitely. So I presume if you've been on our website, I'm sure you're familiar with our stools. Is that the case?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So our stools we make in-house, and a lot of the other stuff we've collaborated with another lumber processing yard where effectively we just organise the transport from the lumber from the job sites and the work that we do. So we organise that transport to the lumber processing yards, and then we have partnerships with them where they mill the timber, and we've got an arrangement where in some cases they might pay us in return with some timber that we can then upcycle.
Okay.
And depending on access, we do have a Lucas mill. I don't know if you're familiar or not, but a Lucas mill is effectively just a portable mill. And so if we can't get a crane on site, then effectively we just take the mill to the log and then just mill it on site.
Wow, that's cool. And Melbourne's got a ton of good wood, is that right? They got a cool variety of different oaks and timbers and stuff?
In a sense, yeah. I mean, it's definitely too good to see to go to waste. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know how Melbourne compares with the rest of the world, but at the end of the day, I mean, we live in a world where we harvest our forests for furniture and building materials, yet the trees in our own backyards are typically being cut up for firewood or fed through a chipper and all going to waste. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, everyone's looking to minimize waste, and everyone's not everyone, but I mean, a lot of people are sort of ignorant to the fact, and they're a little bit unconscious to a lot of the waste that is not being utilized. So yeah, on my end, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I can see the problem. Like you're out there cutting down trees, putting them into the chipper, and you're like, this is a fantastic tree. This is awesome wood. Why are we doing this? What else can we do?
Yeah, and our clients hate the process. I mean, who loves cutting trees down? I mean, if there's any arborists listening, well, yeah. I don't know if there are any of my competitors listening or anything, but yeah, I mean, what homeowner loves getting their trees cut down? I mean, it's a bit of a no-brainer as well.
Yeah. So, when did you start this? This was a couple of years ago?
The furniture side, yeah. So we made the transition, what is it now? It's probably about 16 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were just effectively we were like everybody else. We were all arborists, removing trees and things. But yeah, we just started to question the way things have always been done. And then we sort of stood up in protest of that status quo. And slowly but surely started making furniture out of the trees.
Have you had steady growth? Because I know you've been featured in a lot of newspapers and you've done other interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's without a doubt been very helpful. So on that front, I suppose, we have had a lot of exposure that, I mean, typically we haven't had to pay for. I mean, I'm a big advocate for helping other people and just volunteering my time and sort of helping out in podcasts and interviews and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very leveraged way of getting out there. So we've had a lot of bloggers who have sort of reached out to us and written about us and things like that, which in a sense, it's not only good for people to become familiar with us, but from a business sense, I mean, it's adding to our vision, because the more profitable that we can become, the better chances we have of fulfilling our vision. Yeah,
that's cool. I think it's like the best form of marketing, where someone just loves your story, loves what you're doing, and they want to share it. That's because you don't seem cheesy. It's just good. It's the best. Yeah. I mean, in another sense, I mean, if you're a homeowner and you get a tree cut down, I mean, that's not, cocktail party talk. You're not going to brag about that. But, in a sense, if you have a company that actually recycles the timber and they're the only tree removal company in Australia doing it, well, you're getting close to it in a sense. I guess it is kind of like the what's the toilet paper, how they donate some money.
Yeah, who gives a crap? Yeah,
it's kind of like those guys. I mean, it's definitely not a sexy market, but if you can put a social enterprise thing to it, then it seems a lot better.
Totally. And look at them. Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah. Did you have much like entrepreneurial experience before this? Like I know you said you didn't want to work for someone, you wanted to do your own stuff from the start, but had you tried any other things?
No, in a sense. I mean, I don't believe that you can learn how to swim by jumping in the pool. And so, for lack of a better analogy, that's sort of similar to business. Like you can't really learn a whole great deal about business without starting your own business or running your own business. Yeah. So, I was at boarding school. So right up until I finished school. And it was sort of hardly feasible for me to start a business in school. But I guess I was always sort of curious, and I was sort of always asking a lot of questions to business owners when I was, in my teenage years and even before that. And just simply gathering evidence as to how they did it and asking them, how they got to where they are and things of that nature. So in terms of actual tangible experience and things like that, well, I really didn't have much at all. But yeah, in terms of sort of business knowledge and things like that, well, yeah, I guess I did start at a relatively early age.
It sounds to me like you kind of had that little entrepreneurial tick where like you see things and you just think that can be done in a better way, or maybe I should start that in a better way.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose I'm fortunate enough to come at least from a place of service. When I recognize that someone is in need, I'm usually the first one there to help out, rather than, if I can see money being made, it's sort of a different sort of side of the coin. So I believe that the most successful people do look for where they can add value rather than look for where they can get money or, make money in that sort of sense.
Yeah, that's definitely like the long-term better way to go about it.
Totally, yeah.
What are your marketing efforts like with Treeincarnation? Like you've got your blog, you got your website, where you've got a store on your website, so that helps a lot. Do you do like ads or Facebook ads or anything like that?
Great question. Yeah, look, we definitely did in the early days. I don't think we've advertised in the last 12 months, probably even longer than that. I don't know. But yeah, we definitely don't advertise now. I was lucky enough to surround myself with people who'd sort of built really successful businesses in the past. And I had a mentor tell me that no matter what business you're in the business of education. I mean, in this day and age, if you've got a problem, if you're looking to find out information, I mean, where do you go? You go to Google or you go to Yahoo, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we do, I suppose, educate a lot of prospects on solving their problems prior to them coming to us. Off the top of my head, like for example, we do educate people on tree removal permits and sort of regulations in dealing with councils and things like that, because typically there's a lot of confusion around how to go about applying and things of that nature. So, if you're a homeowner and you've got this tree in your backyard and you want to get it cut down, but you need a permit, I mean, you're going to go to Google and you're going to need to find that information and work out whether you do or don't require a permit. So we've done that and we've made it very clear and concise content. Unfortunately enough, we've actually ranked better than a lot of the councils because it's just complicated with jargon and things. And it's really not uncommon for people to confuse us with the council. So they jump on our website, they see the council logo things and sort of that sort of stuff there, and they think that we are the council because we rank so highly on Google. So yeah, that's just one example, and it does get us a lot of business. So yeah, for those listening, if you are in business, apparently, no matter what business you're in the business of education. So solve your prospects' needs before they come to you and build those relationships in a very leveraged way.
I think that's a great way to go about it, especially in the service industry. Like if I take my car to somewhere and I get a quote for a service and the guy just gives me just a flat figure, yep, bring it in. It's nowhere near as good as if he tells me all these different little things about it. He talks about the different prices, teaches me about my car. That helps.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to that guy 100% of the time.
Yeah, and chances are if you're getting your car serviced, you're not a mechanic, and there's an even greater chance that you don't know much about cars. So yeah, I mean, that is a space in which there's a lot of opportunity to add value.
Definitely. You need that trust. As far as trees go, you guys are the guys if you're giving out awesome information and teaching your customers some awesome stuff.
100%, yeah.
With your website and Google ranking, did you know much about that stuff before you got into this?
No, I didn't. Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm the sort of guy that jumped in the pool and learned how to swim at the same time. And I guess I had a bit of a mentality of if I build it, they will come. which in hindsight was incredibly ignorant. It was incredibly naive.
Mate,
but,
I've done the exact same thing.
Yeah, haven't we all? I mean, yeah, a lot of us have been there. So, yeah, I mean, you quickly begin to realize just because you've got a truck and a chipper and a fancy, bit of sign writing on the side of your vehicle, it doesn't mean that the phone's going to keep ringing. So, studies actually show that business owners only spend 11% of their time on lead generating activities.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing any less than $1 million a year, you should be spending 80% of your time bringing money through the door.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it. The whole build it and they will come. I don't even know where that saying come from, but it's like this disgusting fallacy that I've fallen to a number of times. I thought I'll make this awesome website. I'll put it on Google and bang, people will just turn up because it's that good. But that's not how it works at all.
Yeah, it's not that at all.
And like you said, you get the truck, you put a sticker on the side of it, bang, I'll have customers. It's not how it goes.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, yeah, just because you're wearing cologne doesn't mean a chick's going to come up and say good day. It's
exactly.
It's a bit ignorant, yeah.
And I still keep trying it. It doesn't work.
Keep spraying it, mate.
I'll have to, man. That link stuff, don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's not working for me. What tips or advice would you give for someone thinking about starting their own business?
Really good question. So someone starting their own business, I would definitely surround myself with people who have done what I'm looking to achieve. So especially in this day and age, I mean, there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of people telling you what to do, and not necessarily, it's not always coming from people qualified to give that advice. Yeah. So, a lot of the times, no matter what you're looking to do, chances are somebody's already done it. I mean, unless you're Elon Musk or something. Yeah. So, find someone who's looking to do, or find someone who's done what you're looking to do. Reach out to them, ask them out for lunch, be humble, be attentive, be all ears, and, report back in a month's time and, share with them how you went in implementing their recommendations and things like that. Definitely tip number one, surround yourself with people who've done things that you're looking to achieve, and, be the dumbest person in the room as often as you can. And number two is, a tip that is not exactly recognized or is not exactly utilized nearly to the extent in which it could be. It's around time. It's around getting clarity on what it is that is your highest and best use. So it's only doing what only you can do. Yeah. I mean, in the early days, I was sort of doing everything. I was working 100-hour work weeks, and I expected to wake up the following Monday really fresh and attentive and with it. It's just, it's just not feasible to do and to live that sort of a lifestyle. So, my advice is definitely to delegate what can be delegated. Focus on your highest and best use. Yeah. Get really crystal clear on what it is that only you can do, and, work on your personal development skills, and your leadership skills also. I mean, it's a very important point to note that, we're all human. We've all got the same amount of time in the day, whether you're Richard Branson, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, all that sort of stuff. And how you manage your time is effectively how you manage your life. And that is going to have a really, really strong impact on how successful you will be in business.
That's awesome, man. It's, I agree with like the self-development, entrepreneurial stuff. It seems to be really big picture. Like you have to wear so many different hats and do so many different things that you can't afford to be off the ball. Like you have to sort your diet out. You have to be sleeping. You have to be in a good mental space. You just have to be on it to really get to where you want to go. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
How have you found, like talking about delegating, how have you found hiring and having employees?
Yeah, really good question. And I suppose one thing that we do that others don't is typically recruiting in alignment with our vision. So we're very crystal clear on what it is that we're setting out to achieve. We're looking to minimize waste, or minimize unconscious waste, and inspire the industry to do the same. So, if I've got a prospect who approaches me, or if, I put an ad up on Seek and we get a heap of candidates who apply, but they don't resonate with what we're trying to achieve, well, I mean, forget it. It's like going out on a date or going out on a second date and not really getting along with the person. Yeah. I mean, what's the point? Yeah. So, we figure, in this industry, it's not exactly the easiest work out there. And if you don't really genuinely resonate with the work that you're doing, and if you don't resonate with what it is that the company is setting out to achieve, well, I mean, you're not going to be in it for the long term. So yeah, that's definitely one bit of advice that I would give to other people in business or those looking to start out in business. It's not about the pay. It's not really about the resume. It's definitely about alignment.
Yeah, that's good. It seems like, I mean, I haven't hired anyone, but I feel if you were to hire someone, they would have to match your business and your goal more so than just being willing to work for a cheap price. That seems way more important.
Yeah, totally. And I think it comes back to the business owner. I mean, I'm a believer that you get the team that you deserve. Yeah. Sorry, that's just I'm just in my office and there's chainsaws going outside. Where was I? Yeah. So I believe that you get the team that you deserve. And so, you know, if you are constantly having people come on board and then leaving like a month later, chances are that, you know, you need to improve your leadership skills and your delegation skills, and you need to get crystal clear on where it is that you're heading. And not only that, but also have a vision and have it as your guiding star. I find a lot of businesses write down this fancy slogan or this fancy vision on like a napkin. They put it up on their website and they throw the napkin away and they pretend that is what they are trying to achieve. Where in actual fact, I mean, it's all about alignment and transparency and authenticity with, you know, pursuing that goal.
Yeah, you see it all the time, businesses with their little vision statement that is just so obscure and means nothing, and it's just like, we want to be a great business and be good to people and make money while we do it. And you're like, that's every business in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, when did you first get your first employee? How old were you?
Well, I suppose I had a few people helping me out when I was 18. It's not as though they were full-time employees, but yeah, I guess in a sense I started rather young and I started making the mistakes young, which has, I suppose, provided me with the lessons that I now know today. Yeah,
just like get it out of the way and then move on.
Yeah.
Was it weird, like, because like you're still a young guy now, is it weird having employees work under you that, like, do you have any that are older than you?
Yeah, in fact, all of them are older than me. I'm the youngest by, I think the second youngest is 28 and I'm 20. Well, yeah, I'm 25 now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's not about, I mean, it's an interesting, well, sort of it is as it isn't. I mean, I've got a relationship with my team that is very much coming from a place of service, and it's not about ego. I mean, I'm not one of those bosses that rocks up to work and tells everyone what to do. Yeah. You know, if they've got a particular way of doing things, I definitely work with them, because in this line of work, there's no one set way of doing it. And yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm fortunate enough to have I guess not the skills, but I do have a really strong relationship with my guys, and that is my highest priority. So as soon as there is a little bit of ego getting in the way, I mean, yeah, it's not really me, and it's not really it doesn't really serve a good purpose in this industry. So yeah, I'm very glad that I've learned those lessons early on, and I have them to hold me in good stead today.
Yeah, I think, keeping a level head, like, especially when you start to make a bit of money, you start to think you're all that. It goes a long way.
Yeah, it's easy to get sucked in all that bullshit. I mean, it really doesn't serve anyone.
Do you read much? Do you read many books or anything?
Good question. Yeah, I like to read every single day.
Yep.
I mean, if it's not reading, I like to learn every single day. It's sort of at least half an hour. 2 hours is ideal. But yeah, whether it's business related, whether it's spirituality, finance, even just general wisdom, anything that's sort of going to enable me to grow and going to enable me to become a better person, I'm more than happy to pick it up and have a gaze.
That's cool, man. It sounds like on the surface, you've got this arborist, hands-on tree lopping business with a social venture, but you sound like you're a really entrepreneurial, self-improvement kind of guy.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, yeah, I mean, business is very much a game of, or put it this way, I mean, the business will not outgrow its founder. So the business only grows so long as you do. So yeah, for those thinking that they're going to build a multi-billion-dollar or multi-million-dollar business or, $10 million business, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's all very well and good to have those goals, but I mean, will you be able to be the person who can run a company of that size? So I'm very much coming from a place of improve you, and then the business will improve, shortly thereafter.
Yeah. And like on the other end of the scale, you see people who kind of just fell into business success, whether it be like through funding from their parents or whatever, and they just have no idea about business, no idea about themselves mostly. And it's annoying. You're like, come on, man, you're not even trying.
Yeah, it's brutal, and how hard on it would it be on them as well? I mean, to be
Yeah.
an inheritor, I don't even know if that's the word for it, but whatever. To inherit a business that is way too big for you, I mean, yeah, I cannot fathom what that would be like. It'd just be horrible, I think.
What do you have any book recommendations?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I take it your audience is probably interested in business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all depends. I'm a big advocate for sort of learning about leadership because, I mean, I don't believe that the world is lacking resources. I don't believe it's lacking, kindness from other people. I genuinely believe that the world is most lacking leadership. My favorite book on leadership at the moment is Good to Great. It's by Jim Collins.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Yeah. Oh, you've read it?
Yeah, solid.
It's one of my favorites. And also, there's also Unwritten by Jack Delosa.
Okay.
He does have a lot of interesting principles and, really applicable, I suppose, business perspectives and all things wisdom in both of his books, actually. His most recent one is Unwritten. His first one it's called Unprofessional. Yeah, he released that when he was 26. But yeah, it's not only books, but also mentors. So there's a lot of free advice and there's a lot of content out there on Facebook, YouTube, and all over the internet where, you can tune into and absorb for free. Yeah. So, Jack Delosa, I'm a big advocate for whatever he teaches. And as far as mentors go online, I think that's about it.
Yeah, it's cool. Like you can get a lot of stuff on like for free online, but there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of just crap out there. People just selling like motivational memes, and you're like, okay, good on you.
Yeah, and it doesn't really serve.
No.
Yeah, motivational memes they don't do a whole lot.
No, it's we get a mix of people. Like we've had some guys on here that don't read. They're all about doing. We've had other guys that like really like to read and are happy to read a heap of business books just to take that one little grain of something that they can apply to what they do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it comes down to self-awareness. I mean, a lot of people, I suppose some people in business, before they jump into business, like to gather all the evidence and like to gather all the information before they go into business. So they're likely to not go into it unless they're likely to perfect it. I'm here to tell people that you cannot perfect business. I mean, you're going to make mistakes no matter what you do. And it's best to say yes and work out how. So yeah, it's definitely best to sort of come back to a place of self-awareness, know what you're good at, know what you enjoy doing, and delegate the things you don't.
Definitely. Do you have any formal business background, like a course or a uni, anything?
No. I mean, yeah, it's similar to business. I don't think you can learn it by reading a book. I think it is best to do one's apprenticeship by starting their own business, whether that be big, small, or a startup. I did marketing for a couple of weeks, about a month or something at RMIT. I quickly dropped out of that. It just really wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you'll learn a lot of the tricks on the go. I mean, there's a lot of people out there trying to intellectualize it and trying to teach it in books and things like that. But yeah, like I said, you don't learn how to swim by reading a book on it.
Nah, like I've done a business degree at RMIT, and it seems like universities are more interested in selling a course and selling books more so than helping. Like
totally, yeah.
Giving people knowledge, and that's they're a business, they're a private business, that's their structure, whatever. But I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, and in an interesting sense, it's not coming from a place of service. I mean, I think studies show that 3 out of 10 people who leave university, only 3 out of 10 feel equipped for the real world. So, I mean, that's an incredibly big disconnect between their expectations when they go to university and when they leave. And I think a lot of people should recognize that universities are businesses, and that not only that, there are a lot of other opportunities out there for people, if you are looking to succeed, and you don't necessarily have to go to university to make a name for yourself or contribute something great.
Definitely. Just to cut back to before, you're talking about your mentor. Like, would you say it was like a business mentor or someone who just listened when you had a bit of an idea?
It was definitely a business mentor, yeah. And mentoring is not much about them listening. It's more sort of asking them how they did, where it is that they got, or how it is that they got to the position where they're currently at. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for surrounding yourself with people who have already done what it is that you're looking to achieve. Yeah, whether that be for anything. Yeah, it doesn't just apply for business, but whether it's, relationships. If you want a harmonious relationship, we'll find someone who's, got one or had a couple, and ask them how they did it. And also with business. I mean, if you're looking to build a multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar company, find someone who's done it. And if you're looking to build a multi-billion-dollar company, it might be a little bit hard to find someone who's done it and reach out to them. But it applies to anything. I'm a big advocate for only taking advice from people who have the results that you're seeking.
Yeah, I like that. I think with entrepreneurs and a lot of guys who want to do their own thing, it's the double-edged sword, because like you want to do your own thing, so you don't feel like you have to reach out and get advice, but that should be your first option, really.
Totally, yeah. 100%.
Did that help you a lot, like speaking with a mentor?
Yeah. And it wasn't only just a mentor. I mean, I did invest quite a lot of time, money, and effort into my own education. Yeah. University not included. So, like reading books, going to seminars, attending programs, having coaches and mentors and all that sort of stuff. Because if you want to do something, I mean, most likely all it involves is just working that muscle and becoming it and making it a skill in a sense. So find someone who's done it and ask them how they did it.
That's what it is. Like I find for me, when you just sleep, eat and breathe all this entrepreneurial business stuff, you can't help but come across something or think of an awesome idea, or like when that's all you do, I just can't see how you fail, really. Yeah,
that's right. And it's similar to who it is that you hang out with, I believe, as well. Yeah. So if you're hanging around with people who are not looking for success, well, I can guess the amount of money in your bank account, to the nearest $100, pretty much. Surround yourself with like-minded people.
What would you say on a personal level is your biggest weakness?
Details. I'm not a detailed person at all. Like I'm very much big picture. What's a good example? So, I don't know, like paperwork, administration, like red tape, and just like all the details and sort of the finer items in business is my absolute biggest weakness. I do my best to delegate as much as that.
Yeah. Well, in a way, that's like, it can be advantageous if you want to be a business owner. You should be happy to delegate, and I think micromanagement seems to be a big problem with a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, again, it comes back to self-awareness, in my opinion. I mean, do what floats your own boat, man. Like I'm not, advocating everyone to start their own business. I mean, shit, if everyone did, the world wouldn't really work. So, get to know yourself really, really well and do what it is that you think you want to do.
Yeah. And like, it sounds like for you, you've got like an awesome team there. If you've got guys that you can trust and you can say, hey, go and do this, that makes your job a million times easier.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'm very fortunate to have a team behind me who, for lack of a better example, like if I needed a dead body removed at 3:00 in the morning, any one of the guys in my team would be, more than happy to do it. Not that I've ever killed anyone, but they would be the kind of guys to do it.
Mate, it's dangerous because you have a chipper, and I feel like if anyone can do it,
we do.
Goodness. How is your work-life balance? You mentioned earlier you're working like 100 hours a week at one point.
Yeah, I don't really miss those days.
I bet.
My work-life balance, it's a lot better than what it used to be. I'm just about to go on a holiday for about 3.5, 4 months overseas because it's really long overdue. I'm starting in New Zealand. I'm going to be coming back for Christmas for a week or 2 weeks and New Year's and things like that.
Yep.
And then I'll be going the plan is to go to the US, Mexico, Cuba, Canada, and study a bit more about world's best practice in terms of upcycling trees. So, working with companies who are who are already doing what we're looking to achieve.
How long is that trip going to last?
About 3.5 months, maybe 4 months.
Oh, perfect. That's good.
All that. Yeah. That's cool.
So you're trying to fit in a bit more time for yourself?
And not only that, I'm really, I suppose, trying to improve my delegation skills and, I suppose to be able to work autonomously. Again, it comes back to self-awareness. I mean, I know that the best way I learn is by doing it, not by, learning, not by, reading books on how to do it and things. I learn by failing and sort of screwing things up.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to be a big learning curve for me. I mean, there's definitely risk involved. It could turn out to be a disaster, but shit, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah.
Are there guys in like the US and Canada that are doing like a larger scale of what you're doing?
A larger scale? I don't really know, if I'm honest. I mean, I definitely know that there are specialist companies who simply just take logs off tree companies and things like that.
Okay.
So, but we're kind of looking to encompass the whole process. So, I mean, I've come to realize that the value that we have in our organization is definitely what we stand for and our brand and what it is that we're good at. And the processing of the timber and things like that, I mean, it's cool, but in hindsight, when you look at it from a top tier level, I mean, we're not going to be the best in the world at it. So why would we, even bother trying, sort of a thing? Yeah.
Have you considered other products like tables and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do make tables at the moment. Well, when I say we, I mean, we do have partnerships with other companies who can do everything that we can't at this stage, and we do everything that they can't.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, in the early days and up until this point, it's really been all about sort of bringing on people and bringing on companies who resonate with the vision and want to see it actualize, and working together and doing some really cool stuff.
How is it working with your outsourced guys, the guys that do work for you? Like, is it a good relationship?
My outsourced guys,
or like people that make your tables and stuff.
Yeah, totally. And it hasn't always been smooth sailing. I mean, again, I've come to realize that business is really, really about relationships. And, I really don't get out of bed to work with people who I don't like, working with. And, I wouldn't expect, just because a company can help us or just because we can help a company as well. But, there's a personality clash or, there's at least a clash of visions and what it is that we're trying to achieve. Like that doesn't mean that you should work together. So yeah, I'm very much an advocate for only working with people that is sustainable and that you enjoy working with.
It's so awesome when you're in a position when you can just comfortably say, no thanks, I don't really want your work or whatever. It's ideal because I was working in a cafe before this, and it's not when you have to just turn up and kiss ass to the boss and you're like, I hate this job. That's the worst.
Yeah, and it's not doing them a service either. So I think the best way to have it is really just to surround yourself with people who you really enjoy working with and, help them and your dreams will get taken care of along the way too. Yeah,
definitely. What's next for you and Treeincarnation?
Good question. Look, there has been a little bit of talk of us going into the treehouse building space.
Ooh.
It's a little bit out there. I'm still yet to work out whether it's a distraction or not, because I mean, when you think about it, it's not really in alignment with minimizing waste and inspiring the industry to do the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely all about really improving efficiencies and inspiring the industry to do the same. I mean, in the not too distant future, I mean, the plan is to definitely, systemize our business and make our plans, processes, and innovations open source. Like we might have a channel on YouTube where we're simply just giving the world what it is that we've worked out, just so the rest of the tree companies around the world can model what we do, and together we can somewhat decrease demand for deforestation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's definitely in the pipeline. But other than that, like we're just going to keep improving efficiencies, maybe going to the treehouse building business, and keep doing what we're doing.
That's awesome, man. It's like, I know it sounds like not in the near future, but had you considered like franchising to other cities?
Yeah, look, I was talking to a mentor on the weekend about it, and they definitely did bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that would be a very effective way to monetize the idea. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think that people are going to do what we're doing if they're given, the processes and they're actually shown how to do it, rather than ask for $50,000, for example, up front.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need a lot of money to live off. So, if I can earn now what I am for the rest of my life, well, happy days. But, I'm definitely going to be, trying to change the status quo and just show people how it is that we've done what we're doing.
That's it, man. I like that you're following what makes you happy and not the money, not the dollar. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up in that trap.
It is, especially, I mean, if you're working with customers and you just think, I could just make a little bit more off this person and kind of fleece that person and do whatever.
Yeah.
That's not how you want to go about it.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate for people to, get really crystal clear on who it is that they want to work with, so that they don't do a disservice to the people who they're not meant to be working with, in a sense.
What's your favorite thing about working for yourself?
Ooh, man, it's a really good question. Personally, probably personal growth. I'm a big advocate for personal development and growing as an individual.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I suppose, entrepreneurship is a very hard game. Arguably, it's one of the hardest things that you can do in society. So, definitely achieving. I've always been one to sort of, very goal orientated, and that sort of stuff. So, it's really, really cool that I can bring people together and sort of be the leader of an organization and work with these awesome people to service society and solve people's problems and enable them to feel better and work together to achieve a vision. I mean, shit, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, entrepreneurship's awesome. Like, if you're a goal-driven person and you want to set some challenges and try and reach those goals, it's the perfect way to challenge yourself, because it's not easy at all. Yeah,
100%.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Do you want to give a quick shout out to your website and your Facebook and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. So on Facebook, you can find us at Treeincarnation. That's one word. And if anyone would like to get in touch with me, by all means, add me on Facebook. My name is Nick Peardon. That's Peardon. And I'd be all up for connecting.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, mate.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. That's it for this episode. If you want to stay in touch with us, you can check us out on Facebook. If you listen on iTunes, leave us a review and a rating on iTunes. That'd be really appreciated. And drop us a comment on YouTube as well. And if you have a guest who you think would be interested in being on the show, just go to worktolive.com.au and go to our suggested guest page. And that's about it. Bye.